Dude,
Hey,
third time's a charm. I'm letting you in. What happened? You didn't knock loud enough?
I guess not. I don't know. You got to get those ears shut. When you get older, I think you lose a little bit of that hearing as well as the vision
What?
and muscles and all the other stuff that.
I'm sorry. No. We're not there yet. Holy
Okay.
smokes. Hey, did you have a good weekend, bro? You good?
I did. We had our last T-ball coach pitch game of the year. The Diamondbacks. We went out on top.
Nice.
So it was an exciting weekend for sure. What about you?
Yeah, just I don't know. Went out to dinner. We hadn't done that
Whoa.
over the last 16 months, so that was a big night for us. That was fun. I don't know. It was fun. A lot of baseball. I watched a lot of baseball. I'm in tune right now. I feel good.
I like that.
All right, so let's get to it. Big news out of L.A. Albert Pujols inks a deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Is that bigger news than the injury to Corey Seager?
It is not. I mean, I will say both of you and I were both wrong about Albert landing in the NL.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think, a team like the Dodgers would go out and, acquire Albert, but, they think a little bit differently. And I don't even think this has anything to do with all their injuries. I guess maybe it does, but that one caught me by surprise. But this is Seager's hand for sure. I mean, this guy is, one of the, biggest parts of that Dodgers team. And they're already, like I just mentioned, decimated by injuries. Belly's out, McKinstry, Pollock, Rios is out for the year, and that's just.
Did you just call him Polak?
Pollock.
Did you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable?
I think I did, but I have, that's fine because he broke my wrist a long time ago. That's just the position players. So, we always talk about the Dodgers and how organizationally they have so much depth, and that's why they're so good. Well, it's about to be tested, and it's being tested right now during the season. So I think that's the bigger story. I saw a doctor on Twitter, a Twitter doctor. I think he's a real doctor too.
Right.
Said that bone heals a little bit quicker than the rest of the hand. So,
I saw that same tweet, by the way. We must follow the same Twitter doctor.
Yeah, so that's good news, But here's my thing with Corey. You're in line to make a lot of money, bro. Take your time with this. I think this is one instance where it's very okay to be selfish. Don't rush this thing back. Give it the full 6 weeks. That's my opinion. That's me giving you advice, Corey. Big story. Make sure it's right. Do not rush, dude. You'll be back in time for playoffs. All of Dodgers land will forget about this come September.
Yeah, so Seager is obviously the bigger news. It sounds like they're going to move Gavin Lux over to shortstop primarily. They do have the flexibility of Chris Taylor, but boy, this is a time where they definitely miss Kike Hernandez.
Yep.
You mentioned the injuries that they've had. They've had 13 guys on the injured list. That's an inordinate amount through 6 weeks of the season. The Pujols stuff, okay, so he'll start against lefties, play maybe twice a week. When we found out the news that he was being released, we heard that he still wanted to be an everyday ball player. At some point, he realized, hey, that ain't happening. It's not going to happen. So either I should walk away, which you're not going to do because it's $30 million, or you got to come to the realization that you could be a bit player on a really good team. And so that's what's happened here. For me, the Seager injury, because of his injury history, the Tommy John, the bad back, and now you add the wrist to everything else, I'll be curious if people hold that against him in the offseason. And it's and it's an unknown offseason in the baseball world. I hope not, because he's a good kid and a damn good player.
Yeah, and about Pujols, he gets paid regardless. He could have walked away.
Well, as long as he doesn't retire.
No, he could walk away. He got released. He could walk away and make all his money.
So if he retired right now, he's still good?
Still good.
Oh, damn. I called it a day. I'm out. I'm out.
So this is the thing. I don't think he takes that job, a bench job, with many teams. He's going to LA because he feels like they have a chance to win a World Series. He wants to be part of that. He's not going to go do that for, whoever. This is calculated by him. If he did have that realization that he wasn't going to be an everyday player, which probably was the case, unless he went to my Baltimore Orioles, like I said, he could have walked away, but he wanted to be, in the hunt for a ring this year.
Right. By the way, somebody in the chat said, well, do Muncy and Pujols play at the same time? Yes, particularly with the Seager injury now. Muncy will move to second. He can give Turner a day off at third. You can move. The beautiful thing about Max Muncy is you can move him pretty much around the infield when you need to. So, yes, that'll happen. By the way, today's IG Live, once again, is presented to you by Dugout Mugs. It is not too early to start thinking about Father's Day. It's like a month away. So go out and get, if you don't know what to get Dad right now, start them out with this stuff and get it engraved any way you want. I do not suggest getting Chris Rose engraved on your mug because your dad will take this and then fire it back at your coconut afterward. But you get that, you get the wind up. We can help open up his favorite beer with this. And then you got the knob shot as well. So go out to dugoutmugs.com. The first 500 people out there that use the code word ROSE get 35% off your offer. Let me repeat that. 35% off. The next 500, you get 30. Next 500, 25. It's all presented to you by dugoutmugs.com. So cheers to you guys out there. We're doing your Father's Day shopping. Okay? You're welcome.
I actually drank a beer out of my dugout mug this weekend.
Nice.
It's enjoyable. It's a fun experience. It's not like you're just having a regular beer. You're like, man, this is kind of special.
That's awesome. Good work by you. All right, back to a little baseball, focusing on the AL East. Aaron Judge, huge weekend in Baltimore. Vlad, just as monstrous against Philly. Big picture here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think either one of these guys ends up in the top 5 of the AL MVP voting? And if so, which one?
I mean, they could. And if you're giving me a choice of which one I pick, if they're to stay healthy all year, it's Judge. Because Judge gets a little bit of value from his defense. I don't think Vladito, Slim Daddy Vladdy, is going to get that this year.
Mm-hmm.
But, history tells us that Judge isn't going to stay healthy. And I think the Yankees will be cautious with the amount of games he's going to play this year. So I'm going to say Vlad. He played all 60 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's played all 39 games this year. He wants to be on the field. And right now I have it written down here somewhere. He's in 319 with 11 Jimmy Jacks already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the guy's a stud. I didn't realize he was also 6'5", 250. I mean, this boy is a big, big boy. I love Vlad. So if I had to pick right now, I'm going to say Vlad has the better chance just because I think he's going to play all year long.
Did you say Vlad is 6'5"?
That's what his thing said. Am I wrong about that?
Was he
it surprised
standing
me
on
when
some
I
of
saw
Daddy's
it.
money?
Let's
I don't
look.
know. I don't think he's 6'5". I'm gonna call BS on that one. I think
6'2".
Okay. Hey.
Maybe I guess I read it right because when I was like 6'5", that surprised me. I was like, dang, that's crazy. But 6'2", 250. He's still a big boy.
He is. But he's not as big as he was because he took his off-season training seriously.
That's right, Slim Daddy Vladdy.
Yes. So they've got basically the same numbers right now. Here's the one difference. Aaron Judge has done a lot of his power damage against the Baltimore Orioles. They've already faced him 10 times. He actually is tied for the most homers at Camden Yards this year, and he's played, like 2 series there? You can't take away homers. Whoever he hits him against, it's impressive. But if you look at the list of guys he's taken deep this year, it's not exactly a bunch of Cy Young Award winners and the top players in baseball. If you look at Vladdy's list, it's a little more impressive. He's got 2 against Scherzer. He's got 1 against Aaron Nola. He's got 1 against Mike Minor. So some pretty good pitchers. And I think he's going to continue. I think he's going to stay healthy. I think he's going to be the main reason why the Blue Jays are going to be sniffing a wild card all year. And I think that Aaron Judge has to do something spectacular. He's already set the standard, what he did in 2017. So unless he duplicates that, which he could, then people say, well, you were good, but you're already Aaron Judge. If we see something similar out of Vlad that we saw out of Aaron Judge a couple of years ago, everybody's going to be like, oh, my God. And so automatically people are going to vote for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. And look, Ohtani's going to win the MVP this year. Like, that's just going to happen. So these guys
you're calling your shot.
I mean, how could he not? The things that he's doing, the writers love storylines, stuff like that. So he's going to win the MVP. But I will say this. This is not a math pod. JOMBOY Media, we're not good at math. But
right.
Through 39 games, I'm going to say, let's just multiply all the stats times 4 right now. That'll get us close to 162.
Mm-hmm.
11 homers turns into 44 homers. That's MVP caliber. 30 RBIs turns into 120 RBIs. That's MVP caliber. So he's on a pace to do it, Vladito.
You're right.
But I think that Shohei is just going to take it over.
Does a 1,000 OPS turn into a 4,000 OPS?
That would be awesome.
That would be nice. Everybody's at home doing it. Wow, that's no. All right. First meeting tonight of the year between the Mets and the Braves. Mets lead them by 2 in that division through the quarter pole mark. We're about 40 games in for every team. Who do you feel better about in terms of, I know who they are, Mets or Braves?
preseason, I was all about the Braves. Right now, I'm going to say the Mets. I think just basically because of their pitching. I know they got hit with the injury bug a little bit. Conforto and McNeil are out with some hammy stuff. And then DeGrom is scheduled to throw today. See how it goes. And, they need him back, obviously. But the Braves pitching was supposed to be a strong suit. It hasn't been a strong suit. Hopefully they turn that around. The Mets, though, have been pitching. They've been doing it. And I just think I'm more confident right now with them. The New York Metropolitans. The Braves just haven't shown it to me. They've have a few guys swinging it. I like their lineup more than the Mets, but as of right now, the Mets have just played better.
Yeah.
I think that the Braves are really going to have to turn it around to convince me otherwise.
Yeah, you know what? I feel a little bit better about the Mets in part because they are tied for the fewest home runs in all of baseball. And I look at that lineup, and they're not going to be down for that long. Lindor's going to get it going. The Polar Bear hasn't really cranked it up. Dom Smith hasn't. So I think that lineup has the ability to turn it around. I think a lot of this is on Alex Anthopoulos, the really good GM of the Braves, to find somebody else. I'm worried about Soroka. Re-aggravated the Achilles injury.
Yep.
Charlie Morton has not played up to Charlie Morton standards of the last several years. Maybe this is the year they pull the trigger on a big-time trade. And if that happens, then things could flip. But I still like the Mets a little bit better, and I kind of feel better about their direction overall. So there you go. All right, another issue at the plate, this time on the south side of Chicago, where Jose Abreu scored on the wild pitch. We went to replay in the ninth inning to determine whether or not the game should go to the 10th. They originally ruled him safe. It looked like he was out on replay, and Mike Matheny of the Royals, after losing the game, said we need more accountability when it comes to replay. Do you agree with him, or was he just being a sore loser yesterday?
I agree with him. He might have been being a sore loser too, but both things can be true. I've been saying it for years. We need way more accountability for umpires because essentially there is zero accountability. So even a shred of accountability would be infinitely more than we have now. I watched the replays. There is an angle where it looks like the glove lace touches Abreu's jersey, and then there's another shot that maybe seems like he misses him. So it was a tough call. The thing that I really don't like about the way replay is structured right now is that the call on the field means so much. Why? Why does the call on the field mean anything? If you're going to replay it with a clear mind. These guys should know the call on the field. Replay it without knowing and give us, your best look. Because the guys in New York in the replay booth, can see the thing from 10 different angles. The guy on the field
slow it down.
Slow it down. The guy on the field has one angle and he's doing it at game speed. So the call on the field shouldn't matter at all.
Yep.
There does need to be some accountability. I'd love to hear them processing this information. We talk about that all the time. The fans want to be involved in this, and the players do too. Right now, all you get is a guy with his headphones on, and then he says safe route. That's dumb. There needs to be more engagement with that. So yes, more accountability, 100%.
Do you right now, current umpires are the ones in Chelsea.
Yeah.
Not retired guys. That's their shift for the week. They go up to New York and they spend the time. Would you like to see it be a retired umpire?
I don't care who it is. Anybody can do it, dude. I mean, think about, from my experience, I know the replay people that are with the teams are just guys who they are hey, can you do the replay for us? It's not some special job, dude. You watch the TVs and you decide. You don't need to be an umpire to do this. You need to be unbiased. That's what they need. Doesn't matter who it is.
It just feels a little bit like they're protecting their own and they're afraid to call people out. You know what? If I were an umpire on the field and I knew I made a mistake, I'd want the right call.
Just make the right call.
Listen, I don't want to make too many bad calls because then I lose my job, but that just means I got to get better at my job.
They all say that. They all will come out and say, all we want is the right call, but that's not true. That's not true. Do you think those guys wanted in Chicago, wanted to come and bring everybody back out onto the field after it was just a walk-off Jose Abreu slide into home? No chance. Those guys did not want to hear the crowd boo them. So they say they want just the right call, but is that really what they want?
Good question. All right, got about a minute left. What was the best thing you saw all weekend in baseball?
This one's pretty easy for me. One, I will say there's this picture floating around, and I sent it to you. You're going to look at it afterwards, of this mom catching this fly ball with the baby and the harness over this dude. That's a hilarious picture. So that was like one of the best things I saw. But clearly, I don't think it's up for debate whatsoever. It's the Nick Castellanos after hitting the homer. like
the interview with the fan.
The interview with the fan, him basically like calling out Manfred without calling out Manfred. I'm going to be talking about that more on Talking Baseball. I'm going to give him an award, so that's a little preview there. But that was incredible. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. JOMBOY Media put it out on their Twitter, a great little recap of it.
Yeah, it was excellent. No question. For me, it was two things. Watching Ohtani go deep.
Yeah.
Mike Trout snapped like an 0 for 17 or an 0 for 18 slide with a bleeder with 2 outs in the ninth, down a run to hit one off of Matty Backpacks, who's been pretty good this year. I thought that was cool. And then the other one actually came against my team, Jared Kelenic, with his first homer. It ended up being his first major league hit as well. To watch his parents and his family's reaction, I can't get enough of that stuff. I'm like such a sucker for the romanticism of baseball and what it means with family. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Good for you being unbiased because your Indians lost, three out of 4?
Yeah, well, yeah. They won the first one where Plesac almost threw a no-hitter, and then after that, they stop. Not getting my Monday off to a shitty start. I was just enjoying a baseball moment. That's all it was. All right, so what do you got? You got Talking Baseball coming up in a few minutes?
Talking Baseball, I'm going out right now. Tomorrow, I'm doing a sequence episode about Garrett Cole's dominant 8th inning against Tampa. It's so fun to watch, like an incredible performance by him. And that's it, man. What do you got?
Well, Stephen Vogt is out. I suggest listening to it. It was just a one-on-one conversation, so we caught up for about 45 minutes. He gives some amazing stories, including the backstory on how he became a referee bobblehead, which is awesome, and how he did the Chris Farley impression and how that helped him actually win a government role in high school. Plus, he talks about why he didn't quit at age 27, even though he hadn't made it to the major leagues yet. We just cover a ton of stuff. He gets really teary-eyed talking about making an all-star team. He is one of the great, great guys in baseball. Give a listen to that. And in 10 minutes, I am talking with Lucas Giolito of the White Sox and not Gerardo Parra, but his former teammate in Washington, Max Scherzer, is coming on.
Scherzer and Lucas? Wow. That's star power, man. That's great.
Yeah. So very excited about it. We got some really good stuff to cover with Max. So cool. It's going to be a blast. And we will see you from the Rose Rotation IG account on Tuesday. So make sure you're following Rose Rotation on Instagram if you aren't already. All right, Plouffe, have a good show. I will see you tomorrow, okay?
All right, Rosie. See you guys.